El Iluminado is a graphic novel. It is a story where I, myself, am a character. It has a professor or a teacher or a Amherst College faculty called Ilan Stavans, who goes and gives a lecture in Santa Fe about crypto-Jews. And unbeknownst to him, he has already become part of a mystery connected with the death of a crypto-Jew and the echoes and links that that death has over time, over space, and over a series of family members connected with that individual. I grew up in Mexico loving comic strips. Pop culture in Mexico really meant reading foreign artifacts like Superman and Batman and the Avengers, but also Mexican artifacts, the equivalent of superheroes that were native made, Calimán and Condorito and Mafalda. And the model of the graphic novel is endearing to me. I find my passion for movies and my passion for literature coinciding on the page, the visuals and the text. A number of years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, here at the National Yiddish Book Center, I had a public conversation with a couple of a graphic novel artists and children's books makers. And one of them was Steve Sheinkin. And we struck a friendship after that. And at one point, Steve said, I think I have a little present for you. This is about maybe a month and a half. And he sent me, he's famous for a series that he developed of Rabbi Harvey, a rabbi in the Old West that gets into all this trouble and sorts that trouble in his own way. And Steve sent me a mini graphic novel where Rabbi Harvey goes to Mexico and meets me and then meets my father and meets different, he had read my autobiography of Borrowed Words, and I was just transported. Becoming a superhero myself in some way. And I thank him profusely, and I said, maybe we should do something together. And the idea of doing the graphic novel emerged at that point. It took us maybe 2 years. And it was a lovely collaboration of text and graphics and of we both doing the two. I'm not a painter or an artist, but I have a very clear sense of how the page should look and develop how the characters should take shape. The story deals with the auto de fe of a very famous Mexican Jew, although he didn't openly say that he was Jewish, called Luis de Carabajal the Younger, who was burned at the stake at the very end of the 16th century in 1595. And this is a story that I always loved, and I am always puzzled that nobody told me about it when I was in school in Mexico. I had to discover it on my own after I had left Mexico. And I wanted more people to find out who Luis de Carabajal is. This is a man who had arrived from Spain, who was raised Catholic and only awakened to his own Jewish identity in Mexico because the Inquisition wasn't as mighty, as forceful there. But when he did, the Inquisition started going after him and eventually imprisoned him. He wrote an autobiography, wrenching, really fascinating text. The Inquisitors started to follow him, spied him. They let him free after they had imprisoned him. That enabled them to follow him to different paths and capture his sister and his mother. And eventually he was imprisoned again and burned at the stake. And I think it's a fascinating story, a story that connects with the emergence of crypto-Jews in the Southwest, in New Mexico, in Arizona, Santa Fe, in many ways, and that's what I tried to do in the story. I'm very proud of it.